Once you find an awareness, the first step is acknowledging you want to change, acknowledging you want improvement. For me, I want people to understand acknowledging your dreams out loud is very powerful. Acknowledging your hopes, acknowledging what you want out of life, saying things out loud, there's a real power. There's a lot of research behind the power of words that I didn't have to do. People had already done for me. And how powerful words are. We hear a lot about manifesting. We hear a lot about being vision, having a vision. But if you want to break through and change your life, you have to have a vision of what you want to get to first. Most anyone that's successful had to first think it and then it was created. I mean, even for you, you didn't just probably wake up one day and say, I'm going to start a podcast. You probably started thinking about it first, right?
Yeah, too
That's
long.
how powerful and men, most of us do. Most of us think too long. I do too, but we have to think it before we create it. We have to acknowledge it, and then we start to acknowledge those things. So that's the simplicity of acknowledge is just writing things down, sharing them, asking yourself, I was surprised where I found myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do and what I wanted to become. I had stopped acknowledging my dreams. I just kind of pushed them to the side, like, nope, you're not going to come with me. And they were right there with me because they're put on our hearts for a reason.
Yeah, I like how you say acknowledge. Acknowledge is just saying, okay, here it is. It exists. Like,
Exactly.
what is it that I want? And then it frees you to move on to the next of the 7 words.
Yeah.
Um,
None of the Let me just add one thing really quick that I feel like I should say. Even just acknowledging things that are hard for you is really powerful. Instead of just when someone says, "How are you doing?" Most of us say, "I'm fine. How are you?" But even learning to say, "Oh, I'm having a hard day today," and just acknowledging your truth is so incredibly powerful. I can't tell you. But we fall into these traps that we like say back what we think other people want to hear, or we don't wanna it's hard to be vulnerable. So acknowledging is learning to be vulnerable, be seen, be authentic to who you are. You don't have to be original. You just have to be authentic. Like, who are you? And discovering that. So one little tip I would share is if you're struggling to even acknowledge, start by writing things out. Get stuff, it's called a brain dump. I do this when I coach clients, but get stuff out of your head on paper. Give that all that thought a place to land. It frees up your brain for a little bit. So, like, you can do a thought download with all the negative things that you're struggling with or all the hopes that you have. Like, you can do both. But I find that when I get stuff out of my head on piece of paper and just by acknowledging it there, it gives it a place for when I'm ready to work on it, and it frees me up from that anxious loop in my head trying to carry all those thoughts. I'm not really sure why it works, but it works. And so there's a real power in getting stuff out and sharing it even on a piece of paper to start with and then learn to share it with others.
yeah, it sounds extremely liberating to just acknowledge that it exists. I do feel like this,
Yeah.
independent of what the feeling is.
Yes, it helps you be seen of yourself, right? We would always see other people, but we don't take the time to let ourselves be seen.